So ports along the east and Gulf coasts are on the verge of a dock workers strike that could slam the U.S. Just a month before the election. The International Longshoremen's Association leader, his name is Harold Daggett, he says he's willing to push the economy past its breaking point if the U.S. Maritime Alliance doesn't agree to substantial wage hikes, up to 80% over several years, and safeguards against automation.
So they knew.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Micca, and you're watching the Red Cup Podcast, where truth, pop culture, and politics meet.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Micca, and we're back for another Red Cup Talks because you know when we got the Red Cup, we're about to spill some truth. And today I wanted to come on and talk about the port strike, right? I live on the East Coast. I live in the state of Maryland, and we have, excuse me, we have one of the biggest ports here in Baltimore, okay? And so I wanted to come on and talk about it because it affects, of course, the whole country, but I literally live on the East Coast. All of the East Coast ports are closed because of the strike. So this has real implications for a lot of Americans. You know, we can't get certain items because everything is imported, right? We can't get certain items. We're going to have to worry about maybe, people rushing to the stores like during the pandemic of getting this, that, and the third, right? So there's a lot of things going on right now on top of it costing $1 billion a day, right? And then up to, if we go further than a week, this can start doubling, right? So I wanted to really touch on that and really get into what the implications are and the fact that Kamala and Joe Biden knew this was coming. Take a look.
So ports along the east and Gulf coasts are on the verge of a dock workers strike that could slam the U.S. Just a month before the election. The International Longshoremen's Association leader, his name is Harold Daggett, he says he's willing to push the economy past its breaking point if the U.S. Maritime Alliance doesn't agree to substantial wage hikes, up to 80% over several years, and safeguards against automation. For more on how this stalemate could play out in the next few days, let's welcome Congressman Jeff Van Drew from the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. And more importantly, to this point, he is from New Jersey, which is going to be hit hard if there is a strike. I should say, Congressman, right off the bat, we are getting confirmation from some sources at the Port Authority of New Jersey and New York that they are planning for picketing throughout the port complex. Now, some folks are taking that as an indication that there definitely will be a strike. What say you?
Well, I hope there isn't. I mean, nothing's definite in this world. So let's really, get into it and let's try to straighten this thing out. It's a big deal. And you said some of the numbers before. Yeah. $4.5 billion per day in affecting our economy.
So you just heard that. $4.5 billion a day. This is Kamala's and Joe's economy. They knew that the ports were going to be closed. They knew what was going on. And now we have a strike. And now we have all of these things going on in the middle of an election season. So you got to know that this is going to affect her. You got to know it. The Democrats got to know it. It's going to affect them in at least all of these states because a lot of these are blue collar workers. So that was a couple of days ago. What's happening now? Let's check it out.
7:18 here on the East Coast and taking you back out live to Jersey City, New Jersey. Port workers already walking the picket lines early this Tuesday in a strike over wages and automation.
I used to live in Jersey City, New Jersey, and I can tell you right now, a lot of people there are blue collar workers. This is definitely affecting them.
That could reignite inflation and cause shortages of goods if it goes on more than a few weeks. According to the Associated Press, the contracts between the ports and about 45,000 members of the International Longshoremen's Association expired at midnight. And even though progress was reported in talks on Monday, the workers went on strike, as you're seeing right now. The strike affecting 36 ports.
Where's Biden on this? Where's Kamala on this? Right? I haven't heard anything from the White House on this. Where are they? It's almost like they're just so focused on winning the election that they don't focus on the American people. Kamala is in office right now. Joe Biden said on The View that there wasn't anything that she wasn't a part of. So if that is the case, where is Kamala? Where is she? She's not talking about it. She hasn't given a speech. You know, she hasn't talked about how, when she used to live with her mother's friend and all this other stuff, and talk about how they overcame having to go on strike. Like, these are our politicians.
Is the first by the union since 1977. Joining us live this morning to further discuss this breaking news alert is Jason Greer, founder and president of Greer Consulting Incorporated. Jason, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Could you give us the background for those people that might not understand why this is even happening?
Absolutely. I give you background and I give you perspective, because you can't consider the UAW strike. You can't consider the Boeing strike, because those are examples of recent strikes. We really have to look at what happened in 1977 when the Longshoremen Union went on strike. The difference being between that current strikes and the past strike is the fact that Harold Daggett, who is the president of the Longshoremen, was a dock worker when that strike happened. So he has institutional knowledge and he's ready to go forward. What really this comes down to is the fact that you have the Longshoremen Union that has said, we are tired of not making enough money. They look at the shipping companies and how much money they made when they received COVID subsidies, and the union felt like they didn't receive any of the benefits. They're asking for a 77% wage increase, which they're likely not going to get. But just to show you how serious this is, the Maritime Alliance just came forward at midnight and said, we're willing to give you a 50% wage increase. And the union still said no. So what we're going to start to see, we've already seen it, is that ports across the East Coast are going to be completely shut down. That means that products, goods, and services are not going to move in the way that should.
All right. So you just seen what's happening, right? You just seen what's currently going on. At the end of the day, all the ports on the East Coast are basically closed. 36 ports. That is a lot. And again, the port in Maryland, Baltimore, is one of the biggest ports in the United States. The workers, they're not accepting 50%, right? They want 77. They want 80%. And I don't really think they're going to get it. But I do hope they come to some resolution, because at the end of the day, these ports closed, we're not going to get any of the items that we need. So you haven't heard anything from Kamala and you haven't heard anything from Joe. This is their economy. Kamala is still the vice president right now. This is her administration. Why isn't she speaking on this? I haven't heard a thing. Nothing on YouTube, nothing on the mainstream news, nothing. They're silent, per usual. So who does this benefit? Donald Trump. Donald Trump has been strong on the economy. When you ask them, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? No, you're not. And we can clearly see why. Look what's happening right now, right? So everything's tanking. Let's look at Fox, see what they're saying.
45,000 workers on strike. Tom Hayes joins me to watch the market for us. Do you expect Biden to intervene within a week? As I'm suggesting that in my opinion piece there. What do you say?
I absolutely agree with you, Stu. I think Biden's going to intervene. He just doesn't know it yet, because effectively the last thing you want to see going into an election is 401ks going down and the cost of eggs and wood and all the supplies to North Carolina going up. This could be, if they fumble the ball, the best thing that ever happened to Donald Trump in terms of the election, because right now we front loaded a lot of shipping into the East Coast. So for the next week, it's only going to cost $3-4 billion. After the first week, it could start to cost $4 billion a day. People are going to feel that. And we're in a seasonally weak period of the stock market. As a matter of fact, in elections, the next 10 days, election years since 1955, are the most volatile and the lowest returns of the year of an election year. So you compound that with Israel-Iran, you compound that with the strike. I think he comes in a week and a half and says, if it's not resolved beforehand, and says, we're going to let this cool down to, I don't know, sometime in November. I think the market's going to start to extrapolate what that means in terms of 50% of the port shutting down, can't get goods. Walmart's going to be hit. Home Depot's going to be hit. And then people will worry about the holidays as well. So certainly the public will, even though a lot of the holiday supply has come in by the end of September. As things run out, as price, look, consumer confidence, it's been kind of dead on the map.
We're already suffering in this economy. And I'm just like, and you want to be elected again? You have all of this stuff going on. You have the war with Israel. You have things going on in Iran. You have all of this stuff, immigration. We're shoving out billions of dollars on that. You know, each of these cities are overrun. We're spending money on this, that, and the third. And now we have this. The American worker is stretched thin. They're tired. But that's another reason why I think they want immigration. So I wanted to come back and touch on something real quick. You remember when Donald Trump was in office, how the stock market was. Like, I just want to show you what 4 years was like with Donald Trump, and then where we should be going. Here we go.
Here now to discuss Fox News political contributor Tammy Bruce. Also, she's an independent women's voice president. Rick Unger from the Pod Complex, he's the host there. And Mitch Rochelle, he's a partner at PwC. All right, Tammy, President Trump connecting or trying to connect this amazing economy, household wealth, job openings to the midterm elections. And, you know, I keep saying, I think the Republicans, unfortunately, are victims of their own success. Everyone's doing so well, they don't care about the economy when they get in the voting.
That's right. And
Do you see where we were when Trump was in office? Everybody did so well. They had midterm elections where they weren't even looking at the economy as something to even complain about. It's crazy to know we went from that to where we are now.
you get into this pattern where, and it's true whether it's good or bad, when it was bad under Obama, everybody thought, and they were told, this is the new normal, get used to it. In this case, it's the same dynamic. We're living our lives, things are happening a certain way, and we're busy. We're busy raising our families, and fortunately, busy with great new jobs, and maybe busy with our vacations that we can take now. And then you begin to believe, because America is the greatest country on earth, that this is just what.
And look what that says. Dow market, its 100th record closing since election day. This is crazy. And look what we just watched. The market tanking because of the port closings. Crazy. All right, so what do we have coming up, right? We have today the VP debate. You have JD Vance. You have Tim Walz going to go at it. But I assure you, as good as JD Vance is with putting everything together, he's going to bring up everything and correlate it with these port closings and people being on strike. He's going to equate it to the blue collar American worker being tired of not being paid a livable wage when we were just in an economy that, you know, we just watched was booming. And was doing so good that people didn't even worry about it during the midterm elections to where we are now. And he's going to make that correlation. I assure you he's going to make that correlation. He's going to put immigration there, how much we're spending on that. He has every right to. And if you ask me, that's what's going to make a difference in this election. That's why I said this closing, the ports, everything that's going on with the strike is going to make a change in this election. Trust when I say it's going to make a change in this election. But I could be wrong. Let me know if you think this port strike won't have effect on Kamala. She'll continue to, go on, being a Black woman, and she is the candidate of change, and everything will be good under her, and you don't need policies because it's a vibe. Or do you want a candidate that's going to actually do something? That's going to actually bring back a flourishing economy, that's going to actually do something about immigration, that's going to actually work for the blue collar worker, like Donald Trump, which is why he's winning in 5 out of 7 swing states? Yeah, I got a video on that coming. All right. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Let me know what you think about the port strike. And I really hope this ends soon because we don't need another pandemic-like situation. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.